The best piece of advice I have for someone trying to succeed in the film industry or any creative space is if you're doing what everyone else is doing, you're doing it wrong.
One of the best to ever do it.
What is freedom? I think I stole this from Bob Dylan, but maybe I stole this from Woody Guthrie. Freedom for me is waking up in the morning and going to sleep at night, and in between doing exactly what I want to do. What's the secret to happiness? The secret to happiness is finding something you love and then doing that for the rest of your life.
Hey everybody, and welcome to Site Review Tuesday. I'm Robert with Zenfolio Customer Success, and I want to say thank you for joining me. Now, here in a minute, we're going to get to reviewing one of your websites, and I do want to point out that while this has been pre-recorded, I'm hanging out in the chat, interacting with you guys live and answering your questions. Now, if you're interested in having your website reviewed, there's a link in the description below this video where you can submit your site. And in addition to getting a site review, I also offer a one-on-one session to each photographer who has had a site review done to help them answer any questions or assist in making any changes that they may want to make. Now, don't forget, we also live stream every Thursday at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern Time, so I hope to see you there. Let's get into the site review. All right, so here we are on roxanebay.zenfolio.com, and we're going to go ahead and get started with this site review here on the homepage. All right, Roxanne, one of the things that we definitely need to talk about is if I move this down, you can see that I'm at roxanebay.zenfolio.com. Now, the original address that you had submitted was roxanebay.ca, and if you'll notice, that kind of does a weird redirect and comes here. So, and if I tried to type in www.roxanebay.ca, it did some weird stuff. And so we definitely probably need to review how your domain is set up. It looks like it shouldn't be looking like this. It should show roxanebay.ca here and not your Zenfolio. So we definitely need to review that. It could be causing some issues, some access issues and different things like that. So something we definitely need to look at. I'm going to head and close this. And while I have this pulled down, another thing I want to point out too is that you do have the default Zenfolio Favicon up here. Definitely something that you could update if you wanted to and change the little logo up here to something different if you want to do that. And if you wanted to add some more information up here in this title, you could definitely do that as well. Not a big deal, but just something that's slightly helpful for your SEO, as well as just showing some information about the page. All right, let's reset this and let's just start up here. So just right out the gate, a couple of things here is I feel like this space up here is just taking up a lot of space, and your site menu being down here kind of adds these extra overlays over this really beautiful boat image. And then if I move the browser up here, you can see down at the bottom again here we have another white overlay that's kind of taking up a lot of space over this image. And so I definitely think that here on the homepage there are some things that we could do to probably show a little bit more of the photo, kind of condense this information down together so that more of this beautiful photo is showing with all this rich texture, and this stuff right here is not taking up so much space on the homepage. I love that you have a nice custom logo. But what I would probably suggest here on the homepage is turning off your homepage header menu. Turning off your homepage logo, turning off your homepage menu, and your homepage footer, and showing your homepage header. Now, a couple of benefits to that. One, it's going to keep your navigation consistent and the same across the entirety of your website. But for two, there's some things that we're going to talk about in that header menu that will kind of condense everything down and show a lot more of your images here. And when we get to your galleries and things like that. So definitely something here. Now, I noticed that on your homepage here, you only have a single image showing. It's a beautiful photo, and I definitely think that's fine because most of the time I don't want people staying on my homepage. I want them moving and progressing through my site. And I just think having this one nice, beautiful image is really nice. It wouldn't hurt to have a couple more, but it's definitely not a bad thing just having one either. So I think that's fine. Let's check out your contact page. All right, so this looks like it's the default built-in contact page, and here's where I'm going to kind of bring up your header. So your header, just like your homepage menu, takes up a lot of real estate on the page here. So this is a lot of space being taken up, and I'm not zoomed in or anything. My browser is at 100%, and this is taking up a lot of space right here. So what I would definitely consider is one, cropping a little bit tighter in on your logo here, and then re-uploading it, and then we can adjust the spacing around it, you know, inside of Zenfolio, so that we can kind of get that tight and have it not be so, you know, taking up so much space. The other thing too is maybe moving your site menu from this bar down here, because you have a really well thought out site menu. It's really condensed, which is nice. It's easy to navigate, but taking it from this lower bar and actually putting it up here so that your header space takes up less space on the page. And then you have this search thing showing here, and then you have a search site menu, which we're going to talk about that in a minute. But these are things that you can condense down so that this header is not taking up as much space here on your website. All right, let's move into your portfolio. So we're just going to go to boat bows first. And so right here, you can really see the space that this header is taking up. I mean, it's just taking up a lot of space here, where it's kind of cutting off some of these images down here on the page. I mean, obviously we can scroll down, but there's just a lot of dead space up here. But let's go ahead and talk about this page right here. So first of all, great job making it nice and clean. There's not a lot of distracting buttons everywhere. There's not like a date created, how many photos there are. All of those distracting elements are gone, and we can focus on the images. And it looks like you set it up to use that gallery configuration I showed on a Zenfolio Live. So I think this looks really great for your photos. One of the things I would think about is when I'm hovering over the image, this buy button is popping up, and that's perfectly fine. But we might think about customizing this buy button so that it's not as distracting. It doesn't have this gray bar. This gray bar can be completely removed, and we can definitely customize this buy button to look a little bit different if we wanted to. Something that might fit the cleanness, the color of your page a little bit more. Because for me, having that gray bar across the bottom and then this kind of gray buy button just doesn't match up with what we've got going on in the rest of your site. You got a really clean black and white looking site. We could definitely remove that bar, get this button being nice and black and white and a little bit cleaner looking, and I think it would match the style of your page better. Well, let's just scroll down and see how this looks. Some beautiful photos, absolutely gorgeous photos. And let's see. All right, so some beautiful photos. The gallery is set up really nice, really clean. One of the things I'm missing down here is categories and keywords. So I'm not seeing any categories and keywords here at all. So that means that if you've taken the time to keyword these photos, it's not doing you any good because Google can't see it if you're not showing your categories and keywords. So you definitely want to turn that on. Another thing that you want to think about too is utilizing the gallery caption up here. Maybe you want to talk a little bit about how you got into boat photography, why you love it, or, you know, the different places you go to photograph these, or something like that. Just some information to put in the caption that is going to tell search engines what this page is about and help it rank better for search. All right. Also, too, the other thing is that I noticed you have stock photography here and you have a portfolio, and it looks like most of these portfolios, from what I was seeing earlier, are really photos for sale. So one of the things I would think about, and you guys let me know in chat what you think about this, but should portfolio galleries be separate from galleries that are strictly for selling? Like in my mind, I think of a portfolio as like, here are examples of my work that you can look at to see if you want to hire me for a photographer, versus here are like my landscape, my fine art photos that I've taken that you can purchase. Should there be a clear distinction between those two? If people are coming to your website to either look to see if they want to hire you or to buy your art, is that going to make it easier? What do you guys think in chat? Definitely let me know. But just something that I wanted to bring up is, should there be a clear distinction between these are my example portfolios and this is the gallery of my work for sale? So something to think about. But let's just keep moving on. We're going to go check out your landscapes. And again, some absolutely beautiful photos, and you've done a really good job keeping everything nice and clean up here. This time I noticed though that when I'm hovering over the images, we don't have any kind of buy button showing up. As before, we had a buy button kind of showing up on hover, and it goes kind of there at the bottom. So we definitely want to figure out what kind of consistent buying experience you want to provide to your clients, whether it's on the thumbnails page or however you want to have it set up, but just keep it consistent. That way, when people are going from gallery to gallery, things aren't changing and they're not having to relearn how to do stuff. But let's just scroll down here. Again, no caption up here. So just something to think about is adding a caption. Some absolutely beautiful photos though. Just gorgeous photos. Oh, I love the contrast of the red jacket and the snow there. That's just gorgeous. And again, no categories and keywords down here, so definitely something to think about there. Let's click on a photo and see what happens, see what the experience looks like. All right, so here we have kind of I don't know if that's the caption or if that's the image title. It looks like that's the image caption. And here's the image title right here. So it's nice having that stuff here. Let's see. All right, there we go. So there's some more information about it. And then here we have the buy button, which looks like this is going to the visit shop section. Okay, so this is the visit shop section. Not my favorite buying experience, but it is a lot more visual than the quick shop. So definitely a personal preference. For me, I like having the quick shop here, but that's definitely fine too. Let's check that first gallery really quick. That's one of the things that I'm looking for, is consistency, because again, so right here, so we have the quick shop and we have visit shop. And so one of the things I'm looking for is consistency, right? Again, we don't want people that are coming to our website and browsing our images to have to figure out things on each different gallery that they visit. Once they visit one and they go to another one, that buying experience should be, in my opinion, it should be the same. That way people aren't having to relearn how to use your site on each different page. And so this one is showing both quick shop and visit shop, and the other one was not. So definitely something that you want to think about there. My preference is to go with the quick shop, but again, that's just a personal preference. I just like the ease of use of the quick shop. All right, let's check out your Ontario scenes. All right, and here we go. So here's a gallery caption. That's really nice. Again, all the distracting elements that are normally all over the place, you've done a great job at removing. This looks really good. Hovering over an image, now we have another look here. This is a white bar with a gray buy button, so definitely something that we need to definitely just nail down and be consistent across the pages. But let's keep going down here. Just some gorgeous photos. And, you know, looking at this, oh, that's beautiful. Just looking at this, you have, I would say the number of photos that you have in here it's like perfect per page. There's not too many where I feel like I'm having to scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll, but there's not too few either. Like this is just about perfect because, you know, it's enough that I get a really good sense of your work. I can see what you do. I can see the different categories, but I'm not overwhelmed with a ton of photos that I'm having to scroll constantly through. That's a really cool photo. I don't know what it is about this photo that I like so much, but I think it just makes me laugh. The chicken right here. Again, no categories and keywords, so definitely something to think about there. Let's just keep going up and keep going on through the portfolio here. So let's go to Portraiture. All right, so again, we have the buy button up here and no distracting elements, which is fine. But now when we're hovering over the photos, we are not seeing a buy button. So that's a little different than the other things that we've seen so far. So let's just click on a photo here and take a look. And okay, so let's see. So that's interesting that you must have one photo in here that has a price list on it, but the rest of them seem to be opening up into dim the lights mode. So let's see if we can't find that photo, because this buy button should not be showing up unless there is photos in here that have a price list on it. And you can actually see where it says buy all 2 photos. So that means there are 2 photos in here that have a price list assigned to it. So if this is a collection, that could be the reason if these collections are coming from different galleries. But again, with consistency, you just want to make sure that things are consistent. So it looks like it was those 2 photos right there that have a buy button. So again, that could be a little confusing for people if they're browsing here and they want to buy these photos. That might confuse them and throw them off. Like, why are there only 2 that are available for purchase? Why aren't all of these available for purchase? Now again, this is a portraiture portfolio, so I'm not sure that this would fall under the buying gallery, like the fine art, the landscape galleries where you're selling your images. So this is almost something I think should be separate, as like you're having your real estate photos, which we haven't got to yet, but we will, and your portraiture portfolio versus your selling galleries where you're selling your artwork. But let's just keep going here. So what do we have next? We have nature and wildlife. All right, nature and wildlife. So it looks like with the nature and wildlife, we're back to the original configuration here with the black bar. Just absolutely gorgeous photos here. Just looking here. Beautiful, beautiful. Again, I mean, most of my feedback on your galleries are going to be the same thing. Categories and keywords are missing. We could kind of dress up this buy button a little bit to match the rest of your site a little bit better. And then just making sure that things are consistent whenever we click that buy button. So is this going to where we only have the buy button up here to go to the visit shop, or is it showing both, or making sure that those are consistent is a big thing. So let's go back up here and let's go to florals and let's see here. All right, nice use of the gallery caption up here. Again, great job keeping all of that stuff that pops up over the images. But now, again, we're seeing no buy button popping up over the images where we were before. Do all of these have a price list? So it looks like they all have a price list. Let's just click on a photo and see. Okay, so we're seeing more of this and the visit shop. That's fine. Just scrolling here, seeing if maybe these have categories and keywords. No categories and keywords there. So that's something you're definitely going to want to look into. All right, let's go to Nova Scotia. Now the buy button's popping back up right here. So guys, I think for me, like, let me know in chat what you guys think about it. I think for me, like, when galleries are really inconsistent, and not that hers are really inconsistent, but that buying experience and from gallery to gallery, some of them have the buy button, some of them don't. It just throws me off a little bit. If I'm a visitor and I know nothing about the site and I'm seeing that inconsistency, that kind of starts to throw me off a little bit. And that's definitely one of the things that we want to try to avoid, are those little inconsistencies where now they're like, oh, okay, well, I'm not sure what's going on here because of that little inconsistency, and it kind of throws them off, and, you know, it could potentially, you know, ruin a sale or something like that. So something to think about. All right, let's go down to your real estate photos. All right, and so this does not have a price list on it. You can tell by the buy list or the buy button not being here. There's not a bunch of distracting elements over it. I think that this is perfectly fine. One of the things is for your real estate, since this is actually like a portfolio where you're showing examples of your work, do we want to keep this gallery canvas look forward, or should we change up that? Something to think about. What do you guys think in chat? Would it be better to have a visual separation of, this is galleries that represent artwork that I'm selling, these are galleries that represent examples of my work that you can hire me for? Having those in separate sections, is that beneficial? And then also having them appear visually different, would that be beneficial, or would that be confusing? Let me know what you guys think in chat. I could go either way. I mean, I could see where keeping everything consistent in this would be fine, but I also can see too where, like, having these visually different, where you're, oh, this is a portfolio of their work, it looks totally different, and it helps me kind of understand the separation between the two. I think could be helpful as well. All right, let's check out your stock photography. And this looks like it is going to, it's going to Adobe Stock. Really cool. So you have some stuff up in Adobe Stock, which is really cool, and you guys didn't see it, but I'm going to bring this down, and she has this set up right where it opens up to a new tab, so that we still have our Zenfolio page over here, and we have the new tab over here. I can't stress enough how important it is that if you link to something that leaves your Zenfolio site, or that leaves your main website where you lose your navigation, you want to make it as easy as possible for people to find that site again. And so having it open in a new tab like she had here is the best way to do that. So great job doing that. Looks like you have some gorgeous photos on Adobe Stock, which is really cool. Let's go back. Let's check out your About page. Oh, great about photo, Roxanne. I love this. It's nice to see. I see so many of these where they don't have a photo, or they have like an artsy photo, or they have like just something that isn't them. And I can't stress enough how important I feel like it is to have a photo of yourself on your about page, along with some information about what you do and why you do what you do. Again, I'm always going to advocate for video, but I think you've got a lot of good information here that really lets yourself come across. But I'm always going to advocate for an about video, because I think that that's the best way to really let your personality come across to your site visitors. Let's check out your search page really quick. I know I'm running close to time. So search page. So this is something that I did find a little bit confusing. This search page, when I clicked on this, I was expecting to go to the actual search page, and this is the client access page. So this is not a place where I can go and search. So I can't go here and search for waterfalls, because this is not a search page. This is a client access page. This is the search page right here. So if I type in waterfalls up here, we should get something popping up. All right, so here is the search page, and here are the two photos that have waterfalls in either the title or the keyword. So that's something to think about there, Roxanne, is maybe changing this term out to be client access if you're using that, and then also making sure that you have this search page customized to appear the way that you want it to appear. Overall, I think you've done a great job just nailing down the inconsistencies of those portfolio galleries, or those galleries for sale, specifically that buy button and then the buying experience, making sure that that's the same across your site so that it has a consistent function when people are going from gallery to gallery. And then the other biggest thing for me is the amount of space that your header is taking up here. Definitely would talk about condensing that down and bringing your menu up here. But Roxanne, thank you so much for submitting your site for review. You have some absolutely gorgeous photos, and I hope that this was helpful. And thank you guys so much for hanging out with us today on Site Review Tuesday. And if you need to submit your site, there's a link in the description below this video. I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. Hey, thank you guys so much for watching that site review. If you found this video helpful, please make sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure that you click that subscribe button and hit the little bell icon so you get notified when we post videos and when we go live. Now, if you're interested in having your site reviewed, there's a link in the description below this video where you can submit your website for that. And in addition to getting a site review, you're also going to get a link where you can schedule a session with me. We're going to go over your website, go over the review. I'll answer any questions that you have and help you make any changes that you're interested in making. So the link to sign up for that is in the description below this video. Now, don't forget, Zenfolio Live coming up this Thursday at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Hope to see you guys there. Until then, I hope you have a great week.